What's up, beautiful Earthling? Welcome on board. I am Y311H, and what I'm holding here is our mic for today. Child of God, before we dive in and take a look at the incredible videos we have today, which we shall be reacting to them together with you, let's first give thanks for life. Thank you, wonderful Father, for this good day. Thank you for this chance to be together with your precious child, today's viewer, Father. Help us to spread love together with them. Thank you for you shall uplift their souls and bless them through this video, Father. Thank you for you shall give them strength, dear Lord, and renew them, Father. In your holy name, Jesus Christ, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Child of God, we have a mission here to spread our message of love, peace, honesty, forgiveness, and unite all earthlings, creatures of God from across the whole world. And with your help, we can make that happen. But before we dive in, I'd like to share with you this word from the book of wisdom. It says, "But the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen and protect you from the evil one." That is from the book of wisdom, 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 3. As you meditate upon those words, child of God, let's take a look at these videos.
Sí.
Now, this is a scary start.
Mira.
Wow!
Ay, no, yo no quiero ver, yo no quiero ver, yo no quiero
Wow!
ver.
Looks like a landslide happened here and the road broke off.
Ay, no.
Wow!
Amiga. Ay, amor, dame la mano.
Wow, this is bad.
¿Cuántos metros hay de acá allá?
But thanks to God, it looks like there was no people using the road at that time.
Mira, se cayó.
Marica, esto sí cayó demasiado. La carretera desapareció.
Wow.
Y desde allá.
Oh, my friends, great shifts are happening in the world. From the weather, my friend, to things that people see
Let me give
is
you another
strange.
example. China was going to hit us with rare earth. Now everybody says, "Oh, what does that mean?" Magnets. If China refused to give magnets because they have a monopoly on magnets because they were allowed to happen over a 32-year period, there wouldn't be a car made in the entire world. There wouldn't be a radio. There wouldn't be a television. There wouldn't be internet. There wouldn't be anything because magnets are such a part. Now, nobody knows what magnets are and not overly sophisticated, but to build a magnet system would take 2 years. So if I weren't able to say to China, look, if you're going to do that to us, we're going to charge you 158% tariff. It was 100% on top of 58%. And China called up immediately and said, we will make peace. And we made peace. We made a great deal. We made an unbelievable deal. China's paying tariffs to the United States, not the United States paying tariffs to China, which has always been the way it was. Nobody can believe these deals.
Wow, this king of Figishra sounds like good vibes, guys. Good
A
intentions.
government experiment to terrorize people in poverty. Check this out.
Do y'all hear the dog?
There's a dog barking in the background.
One time, 2 weeks ago, I was like stoned and I woke up at 2 in the morning, still stoned. And I heard that dog barking. And the way it barking, it just sounded exactly the same pitch every time. And I got really creeped out because I started to feel like, what if the dog barking is a government experiment and it's really just someone playing a dog barking over a loudspeaker?
Almost like it's
as a form of,
pre-recorded.
like terrorizing low-income neighborhoods so that we can't have peace. Like, this is literally how I was thinking.
It's not that far-fetched of a theory.
And I swear, I bet you that is real.
Aye.
Some way.
It's like the movie
I got
They
so
Clone
scared. I was
Tyrone.
like,
Check it
that's
out.
a robot. That's not a real dog. It's kind of like how in San Francisco, some businesses will play classical music super loud over the speakers outside of their business so that homeless people won't loiter and, hang out or sleep. And of course, a lot of homeless people will still stay out there and still sleep anyways, despite the music, but
Stay weird, y'all.
it creeped me out thinking that, like, wow, like, this could all be a experiment.
Wow, good vibes, children of God. Do you think our friend here have a
It's an
point?
injection with an air hypo, and I got really, really groggy. And I remember waking up at that point inside a shuttle that was leaving Diego Garcia going up to the moon. And I heard this weird conversation about the pilot and the co-pilot were talking about this idea of what Jericho actually meant. And the co-pilot said, "What do you mean Jericho?" And he said, "Well, Jericho," the pilot said, "Well, Jericho actually means it's the city of the moon."
What?
And that should give some people pause for a moment, because we have cities that are here on Earth that are also named after this, right? But the interesting part is that he's like, yeah, we'll be entering the moon here in a second. And I remember looking this way to my right, I was still kind of groggy, my head was kind of, I remember seeing this tag on the wall that said, "Built by Lockheed Martin." I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this product was actually built on Earth and someone paid for it? Really? And at that point, the ship kind of turns this way. And as it turned, I remember looking through one of the windows, and I could see the LOC, the outside of it. And there was this big hole that had antennas around it and some other stuff around it. And we flew right into that hole. I thought we were going to crash. But next thing I know, we're inside this landing area, and the grogginess had kind of knocked me out again. As the door slid open, these two big guys come in, they pull us out, and they pull us into what they called INDOC, which essentially is the indoctrination center on the LOC.
What? Oh, my friends, literally that good vibes guy was a space soldier,
Russia
a moon
is not
soldier.
happy right
Crazy
now
stuff.
because one of the largest oil refineries inside of Russia, the one that makes them the most money, is now halted because Ukraine had sent drones into said area, and now this unit is being shut down.
Look, here's the thing. Russia's in a lot of trouble. I think Russia's in a lot of trouble right now. Before I get into that, that's Joey Contino. He's a friend of mine. Great resource for information, a lot of information on Russia and Ukraine specifically. He makes a lot of great content about that. Go give him a follow. Ukraine has now knocked out roughly 38% of Russia's refining capacity. But here's why I think they're in a lot of trouble. Russia knows what's being targeted and can't stop it. Russia knows their refineries are being targeted and can do nothing about it. And that is a serious problem for Russia, especially going into winter. The fuel shortages are gripping the country. There are hundreds and hundreds. I saw one report of over 1,000 gas stations in Russia being closed. Can't verify that, but I know for sure there's hundreds and hundreds. Gas is at all-time record high prices. It's being rationed. You can't buy more than 5 gallons of gas if you can find it. They don't even have gas to put in the school buses to take the kids home from school. It's getting really bad. And you kind of have to appreciate the surgical precision with which Ukraine is doing this, because this is a very touchy situation. Because if you knock too much Russian oil offline and disable it from being exported, then you see oil prices skyrocket all around the world. So the way in which Ukraine essentially disables Russia's energy infrastructure is very important to the rest of the world and the global economy. But because this is going to continue, as a matter of fact, it's only ramping up it's more and more every day, right? This is going to continue. And what you're going to see is people, when you get into winter, a lot of people are going to be freezing to death. That's just a thing that's going to happen. And I'm starting to wonder if at some point, if the people of Russia rise up and say no more. And if so, Russia could fall. I think the question is there anyone within the government that has the courage or the power to basically unseat Vladimir Putin in any way possible before that happens? Because if Russia falls, it is going to have massive ripple effects across the world. And I don't know that this is going to happen, but I do know the possibility is high. And one of the reasons that the possibility is there is because there's a lot of people that currently live in Russia that lived through the last time Russia fell. You see, up until recently, this whole conflict at least for people in Russia, this was something that was occurring far away and it wasn't having a large impact on their life. Well, now they're smack dab in the middle of it. They're smack dab in the middle of it. Now this war is at their doorstep. And I don't think that's going to fly through the winter. I'm seeing parts of Russia could like literally turn into like this Mad Max type situation. I'm not saying this is going to end very soon, but what I'm saying is we're starting to see how it's going to end. We've gotten to that point where we can see what's going to get us to the end. Thanks.
I am a firm believer that karma always takes care of people who just don't fucking learn that you are not the one. I'm really surprised that it's taken me this long to do a freezer thing for this. I like to add chili powder or like chili flakes as a little spicy moment. And usually I don't resort to the freezer unless they're literally not leaving me alone, ripping me off, whatever the case may be. Vinegar, and look, now it's flat. And then they go right into the freezer, they go. Karma's a bitch. All things done in the dark will always come to light. My spirit team, don't play about me. The most important thing when it comes to a freezer spell and trying to get somebody to leave you alone, you're literally freezing them in time type of thing, is setting your intentions. So for my intentions are this person received their karma that has been brewing for a very long time. And it's only a matter of time. You start to realize that, or maybe you haven't, there are certain people you cannot mess with, especially people who have African ancestors, deep lineage, that kind of thing. And I'm just going to leave it at that. In the freezer you go.
If you don't have a routine, you are much more likely to fall into depression. Because when your days have no structure, your mind has no anchor. And when your mind has no anchor, it feels like any wave that's thrown at you can drown you. People think freedom means doing whatever you want, but too much freedom turns into chaos. When you wake up with no plan, the world starts controlling you. Your mind needs predictability to feel safe. Without it, your thoughts start drifting into darker places. It's like walking through fog with no map. That's how depression creeps in. Not all at once, but slowly through the lack of direction. Every human needs 3 things in the routine: purpose, movement, and reflection. Purpose gives your day meaning. Movement keeps your body alive. And reflection keeps your mind clear. Miss one of those and your balance will start to break. Discipline isn't punishment. It's protection. The moment you start creating order, your mind starts to heal. A healthy mind is a healthy life.
Why? That's not good.
How did we not see this? How did we not see this before? Oh my god. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Just wait. Okay, work with me here. We're gonna connect some dots. Who took over the Egyptians? The Romans. What era of time are we in? The Roman era. It didn't end, you guys. Well, it's ending right now, but it didn't end before. But wait. Who has the most power in the religious world? And where are those headquarters? Rome. It's been the Pope the whole time. It's been the Pope the whole time. Oh, and that explains so much about the conclave ritual. And if you have not seen that, you got to go watch it. I think it's on Netflix Netflix. I think it's called Conclave. And didn't it come out right before Francis died? It did. It really did. But see, everybody's now going to be like, "Oh yeah, we have a new pope."
See what, Grandma? Please tell us.
Haven't heard much about him lately, have you? Oh, you have not. I haven't. I don't know if you guys have. And let's remember a little bit about Romans, shall we? Back in the day, because they weren't the nicest people. They rule by entertainment. Colosseums, the lion battles, what they used to do to prisoners. It's been them the whole time. The whole time. Look at when popes were introduced. Look. It's been him the whole time.
Do you ever notice when you enter a new area that the simulation loads more people in? You look out your window and your street is quiet and calm, but once you go outside, then everyone starts loading in and you have a few cars going by, maybe someone's walking a dog, maybe there's some kids on bikes. Or when you go to a restaurant and it's empty, but then after a few minutes, a bunch of people start showing up. Is that just a simulation loading in NPCs for you so it doesn't feel empty? Is there a delay in them all showing up because they had to load in from far enough away that you couldn't see them spawn in?
President Trump says he plans to give every American a $2,000 dividend funded by tariff revenues. He says it would go to everyone except for high-income people. Congressional approval, though, would likely be necessary to provide those payments. The president says the country is taking in trillions of dollars because of his tariffs, and that soon we will begin paying down our debt.
I bet you've never seen an engine this big. Let's take a look at this beautiful snow engine. This snow engine was built for pumping natural gas out in the gas fields and is known as a snow engine. It is extremely unique as well as powerful. There are only 2 connecting rods connecting this engine to its crankshaft. However, it's considered an 8-cylinder engine. How the hell can that be possible? Well, take a look. On each shaft, there are 2 inline pistons that travel back and forth on the same shaft.
Why does that sound
Now,
so
what makes
true,
this
man?
engine unique is there is actually a combustion chamber on each side of those pistons. So, in a traditional engine, you have a spark and ignition that happens on one side of the piston. It travels, makes a full revolution, comes back, ignites again. However, in this engine, it ignites on both sides of the piston. One pushing it forward, and then on the opposite side, one to push it back. Now, when you have 4 of those pistons with a combustion on each side, you end up with essentially an 8-cylinder engine on only 2 connecting rods. It is truly a remarkable piece of engineering, and I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this beautiful snow engine. Thanks for watching Antique Tractor Talk.